So yesterday I went to see the new Star Wars film, The Last Jedi, and I was not disappointed. But please, if you've not seen the film yet, do not look in the comments. It may have spoilers in it. But so the first half of this review will be no spoilers. I say half, probably gonna be like a minute or so, not even that. So basically, I thought the film was excellent. It definitely didn't need to rely too heavily on the other films, like Rogue One and The Force Awakens seemed to. It was very intense all the way through, and there were some comedic moments which weren't too overplayed. It wasn't overly comedic. It wasn't dull and bland of all form of comedy. It was just right, I think. May I just say that I was very, very disappointed that the Crystal Foxes and the Porgs they don't fight. They never have any battles. They don't have like their own little war, which was a shame. But the film really went in some very unexpected directions. Even though we all expected it to be unexpected, we all expected the unexpected, but it was like really unexpected, and it was wonderful. So Ryan really did a great job, and I can't wait for his new trilogy. The acting was great, and the new characters were interesting, such as Rose and Holdo. They have some interesting character arcs. And now on to spoilers. That's it. So I actually found the opening crawl very pleasing. I wasn't sure what they could have put in there, but it was basically the stuff that we didn't particularly need to see on screen, which was great. I'm looking forward to see Rose again, but not Holdo for obvious reasons. Poe takes on a dreadnought by himself seemed kind of unbelievable, but as Finn says, he is one hell of a pilot. Kylo decides not to kill his mother, which makes his path seem more unpredictable, as he could go either way throughout the whole film, which it really adds to the sort of intense, ominous feel to the whole film. Poe lets all the bomber pilots die, and I think that really shows that he's more there for the cause. He just, like he says, he just wants to burn the First Order down. That's why he's there, and he knows that lives are going to be lost, I think. And Leia, she appears to die early on in the film, which was a shock for me, and I wasn't really sure what to think, because it was like tragic but powerful, but she doesn't die. It's quite weird when she uses the Force to save herself, I think, but it was still quite an awesome moment. Shame about Akbar, though. I've had a script written for the life of Admiral Akbar for ages, and now I have to, rewrite half of it, because for half of it I was like, hey, we don't know when he'll die, but he's dead. So Luke comes on, and he doesn't speak for a bit. He throws his lightsaber away, and my friend, he said, oh, well, that wasn't expected. And I was like, indeed, yes. But not completely. That was kind of the start of everything going down, like, a different path to what we expected, I think. I was a bit disappointed that they didn't go grey like Luke wanted, and like a lot of fans might have wanted. And it still seems to be like the light and the dark, and that's it. But we still have episode 9 to further explore that kind of balance. So let's go on to Vice Admiral Holdo, a new character who I rather liked. She's quite mysterious, and you never fully know what her true intentions actually are. We also learned that Finn is viewed as a hero to many Resistance fighters because of his courage. It's good to know that Finn is appreciated and welcomed, despite him, once being a stormtrooper. Rose's brief backstory gives her character all the motivation for the things she does, despite all of her and Finn's efforts being somewhat pointless by the end. I found their undercover mission into the First Order quite a unique one, apart from episode 4 with the stormtrooper disguises. They probably should have been more careful with BB-8, to be honest. So let's take this moment in the review to talk about whether it's a rehash of Empire Strikes Back. I don't think it was, at all. In fact, I thought the only similarity was the scene on Crate with its rebel base, and also the Darkside Cave, which I'm looking forward to learning a bit more about Crate from the comic Storms of Crate, which is coming quite soon. And we learned that the First Order has developed a technology that can track ships through hyperspace, which it's not entirely true that this is new technology, since between Rogue One and A New Hope, the Empire were able to track the Tantive 4 through hyperspace due to it leaking some fluids, but that's the only current way. I found that when Kylo Ren and Rey were communicating through the Force, you could kind of tell that the actors weren't really talking face to face. Kylo's trousers were incredibly high-waisted, nothing like the fan art. Let's talk quickly about Snoke's death then. It was one of those events that really shocked me and took the story down an incredibly different path to the one which I was expecting. I still don't really know which of the characters, Kylo or Rey, was the one who turned on the lightsaber, but I really do think it was an interesting and welcome twist. And I think that's who turned on the lightsaber could be like a little mystery that we'll all be speculating about, unless it's like obvious and I'm just a bit stupid. My only complaint about Snoke's death is that we really don't know anything about where he's from. Rey and Kylo kind of team up for a bit, and it's absolutely awesome. The fight feels like they're taking on about 20 elite fighters, and isn't just some people swinging lightsabers around like in the prequels. It's really well done. Great choreography. There seemed to be many losses on both sides of the fight, and I think that we were mainly expecting Resistance losses. Not to say that the Resistance didn't take a big hit in this film. It made me think that both sides will weaken each other, ready for some other force to attack them both when they're weak in Episode 9, like the Yuuzhan Vong, but I'd say that's quite unlikely. When we saw Yoda's ears, I got really excited, but then he looked super weird as a puppet. Granted, CGI would also have looked kind of weird, I think. In any wide shots, he looked kind of awful, but in close-up shots, he looked fine, you know? I don't think I would have minded it nearly as much if it was all close-up shots. I think I really would have liked it then. I did like it, but it just looked a bit weird. Although it would have been nice to see Obi-Wan, it's probably unnecessary. Rey's venture into the dark side hole heavily mirrored Luke's adventure into the dark side cave, but I thought it seemed a bit more mystical. Like Luke saw his face in Darth Vader, Rey sees her face when she tries to find out who her parents were. Does this mean that Chewbacca is also Rey? Because as we know, Chewbacca is Rey's father. Who knows? Near the end of the film, Holdo sacrifices herself and the Raddus to ram the First Order ship through lightspeed. Yes, I know it's not technically lightspeed. I predicted that this would happen relatively soon, not before the film, like during the film, and I think we saw it coming. It also answered the question I had about just hitting something in hyperspace. I thought it didn't really make sense how they had such fast-moving objects. They could just ram a planet with a ship in hyperspace and just, like, obliterate the planet. But the scene showed me that, like, the rules of hyperspace were probably a lot more different than we think. So, like, it didn't... I would have expected a ship flying in hyperspace into another ship to just absolutely obliterate everything, but the rules must be kind of different. When the Resistance ships were escaping the Raddus, I kind of felt like they were taking way too long, like an Indiana Jones door. It's almost like, it's like almost closed, but it seems to be open again in the next shot, just to be sort of closing again. And it just to give like Indy time to like escape and cut it close. Apart from the Resistance ships were never seeming to get much further away from the Raddus. Following this scene is my biggest gripe with the film, Phasma's death. We all wanted Phasma to win that fight against Finn, but she doesn't. For God's sake, give her the death she deserves! But I guess it's too late, unless she got some friggin' extremis in her or something. I also really wanted to see Gwendolyn's face, but all we get is her eye. Come on, de-helmet her. I feel like if Finn had completely knocked the helmet off her face, it would have been much better. When all the floor fell around her, I was like, oh, phew. But then I was like, what? Okay, run over. Because I really enjoyed the final act on Crate. It was an intense act. I'm pleased that Finn survived. I don't think he needed to die up against that big laser. Although I think that those walkers could have done what that big laser took ages to do much faster. When they pummel Luke, I think that fire could have busted up the front... When they pummel Luke, I think that fire could have busted up the front door rather well. Or just been used to collapse the base completely, to be honest. Also, I think that Chewbacca might have introduced porgs as an invasive species, by the way. I hope none of them got off the Falcon on Crate. C-3PO was C-3PO, and that's all there is to say about him. Luke's not exactly there, as we know, which explains how he had that blue lightsaber, which gets pulled in half earlier. Funny how Kylo Ren didn't notice that. I guess he was too busy being ultra emo. We didn't think he could get more emo, but he does. Such an angry boy with a lot of steam. It's good that Luke doesn't give Kylo the satisfaction of killing him, and he doesn't give Kylo the satisfaction of killing Leia either. I believe that this act was what it took him to become one with the Force, though it's kind of a shame that he technically just stays on Acto for the whole film. What I found a bit weird that a lot of people are saying is that they think that he died because it took too much effort to project that kind of Force vision into everyone's heads on Crate, but I don't think so. I think he just became one with the Force after he did that. I think he's alright. I was hoping we might see his X-Wing leave the water, but I guess not. The fact that he becomes one with the Force after shows that Obi-Wan and Anakin didn't necessarily have to go through the same training as Yoda did to achieve the act in the Clone Wars. I think I would rank this as the second or third best Star Wars film after The Empire Strikes Back and Around A New Hope. Don't forget these are initial opinions. And I think that draws my review to a close. If you enjoyed, leave a like and leave a comment with your opinions of the film, if you agree or disagree with what I've said and whatnot. You know, the usual. Thanks for watching, and have an alright day. I'll be streaming Battlefront 2, the single player, soon. I don't know, at some point. Okay, bye.